everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Nikki here, and today I want to show you a little recycling experiment that I have been up to. I saw a post on Instagram a few days ago, and this lady, and the trouble is I can't remember who it was, had made these gorgeous tags and things like that with all these fabulous fabrics attached to it. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I had all of that in my stash. And then I thought about it and went, well, it's all very nice, but it will cost a fortune to buy a ton of fabric. And you know, sometimes I might just want a tiny little bit. Is there any way I can do this myself? So here's a little example. I watercolored this tag, stuck a die cut on it, and then this is one of my little experiments. What I did was I grabbed an old sheet out of my linen press. It was a fitted sheet and the elastic had gone and it was hidden right down the bottom, and I started playing. So the first thing I did, I grabbed my El Cheapo watercolor set because it's got lots of fabulous colors, and I started playing. So these are 4 that I made just with these watercolors, and I'll show you how I did that a little bit later on. So I made a pretty blue one, a green one. I started experimenting, you know, with adding a little bit more color to try and get some ombre sort of effect. I made a very soft pastel one, and then a really bright one. So I was very happy with those. Then I decided, let's get those out of the way. I thought, what if I want something that has a bit of a vintage feel? So I had a go using the very light sort of skin tone color on that one. And then this one here, I actually did with that slightly darker brown. So if you want a little piece of fabric and you couldn't be bothered to make tea or coffee and start fabric dyeing, you can get the same aged effect just using watercolor paints. And then of course, I just simply stamped on it using my Ranger black ink, and bam, all this gorgeous sort of vintage aged look. I did also use a little bronze colored stamp that I had for this one as well as black, but how cool did that turn out? And this one I actually tore the edges instead of cutting it with scissors just to see how that would go. Love it. So we had those done. Then I decided, how about we get some acrylic paint out and have a go? And I learnt a few things as I was experimenting. If you are generous with water, you can almost get a watercolor effect using acrylic paint. The drier your brush and the drier the fabric, the thicker it becomes. Now, this one here, see, it's quite stiff, but it's the most beautiful color. And I had a little bit of a go at stamping on this one with some lovely sort of coppery colored paint. This one here was just purely a sort of a watercolor play just to see what would happen. I've done this lovely one in the copper again, and I might use this as a belly band. I might sew some pretty things on that. We'll see. Then of course I did a lovely pink one. Also had a go at stenciling on this one with some gold paint. That came up really well. And this one, I literally just painted some stripes to see how that would go. Then I made this one. So this one was virtually no water. It was basically, I just daubed acrylic paint, and honestly, I used all different brands. None of them behaved any differently. I just slapped the paint down, and then when it was done, I've done some stenciling. And at the same time, I grabbed some of my pens and used those. I used my white Stabilo, this one worked best. It's my Signo Uniball. It wrote beautifully on the squares. Then the next one was this. I picked this up at Officeworks. It's an iron lac pump action chisel tip paint pen. That one made those really cool marks. I'm going to go and buy a heap more of those. I love them. Then these were just some dots I did with more acrylic paint. This one here, I sort of did some more dots, but this was a very thin, hot pink fluoro paint. It didn't go so well. It's the only one that sort of didn't really work. Then we had to go with some nice lime green acrylic paint, and then a few circles. And then this pale pink one is this Pilot Pintor paint pen that I scored, and I just did some hearts on it. So honestly, everything I tried, whether it was stamping, stenciling, paint, they all worked really well. So I'll show you quickly how I did the watercolor one. I have a little piece of my sheet, and I think this time we might have a go with my little Jane Davenport set, because I love these bright colours. So let's see how they behave. Now, with the watercolour ones, or what I did, oops-a-daisy, I got a bit of leftover pink paint on there. That's all right. How about we start then with pinks and things down this end of town. Oops-a-daisy, mustn't have got rid of that last bit of paint. And then if you just dab on, can you see, just dabbing on the paint, and then if you want it bolder, keep dabbing. If this behaves no differently to watercolour paper. There is just, it's so easy to do. And then I'll actually give this brush a bit of a wash before I progress on to, let's see, how about some purple? Yep, works perfectly. And then you just keep dabbing if you want it darker and brighter. See, and it behaves exactly the same way that watercolour does on paper. It's so cool and so easy. So, of course, if you are doing a particular journal, or you're doing some cards or something and you want a particular colour, you don't have to go out and buy fabric. You can make your own. See how easy this is? Make it a bit bolder. You just add a bit more in certain spots, and it will dry just like watercolour paper, and you'll have different shades. If you want to have it all one colour, then you just have to be a little bit careful that you make sure you try and keep the same amount of paint all the way through. It worked quite well with my pale green one that I had to go with. Bit more paint, sort of hide that, but I don't suppose we really have to hide it, do we? It's so cool. This is so much fun, and it's so easy to do. And then honestly, you can then create fabric in any colour you want, whether you want to use it for ribbon for tags, you can use it to make belly bands, you could use it to make bows, you could use it to make fabric ruffles for your journals. Honestly, there is nothing you can't do with this. It is so cool and so easy. And if you don't have an old sheet, there's no reason why you couldn't just find an old shirt or t-shirt or something like that to use. The list is endless. Any colour you want, use any medium you want. Just have some fun. I just find this so much fun. And there we go. Just like that, it's done. Then I just hung these up and let them dry, and voila. I have a nice bright one ready to use for another project. Go and have some fun. Recycle an old piece of fabric that you have at home and turn it into as many custom bits you can use for your journaling or mixed media projects, scrapbooking. I mean, the thing is, the list is endless. Just go and have some fun. Use whatever supplies you've got. It doesn't matter whether it's cheap and nasty paints or really expensive ones. They all work. You can stencil, you can stamp, you can sew little bits onto it. Do whatever you like. Have some fun. It's a great little recycling project. Great little thing you can do if you want to be creative and don't have a lot of time. Just make a couple up. Let them hang and dry. The next day they're ready to go to be further embellished or to simply use in your projects. I will be making plenty more because I have a ton of that sheet left. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments. I'm happy to answer them for you. And if you're new to this channel and haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you would. Plenty of crafty and plannery videos heading your way. And I would love it if you would give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Until next time, please stay healthy and stay safe. And happy crafting. Bye for now.